That was the one where he wanted to add the 3 lots to the existing. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order of planning. First, want to recognize the 2 new board members appointed by the commission. Mike, anything you guys want to say before we start out? You just if you say the same thing after the end of the meeting. So, all right then. Well, we'll go with so just generally, process is motion second, approval. There is just for the new members of the board. There are 2 different types of variances. Some variances which we sit as a board of adjustment. Others where we just make recommendations to the commission. So when we do make recommendations to commissions, we just send up and tell the commission what our thoughts would be on the other one. To pass a variance, you need 2/3 of the entire board to pass the variance, which is basically permission to try with something. All right, with that, I'll start with approval of the agenda.
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approval of the December 2nd, 2024 planning minutes. Posted.
Motion to approve the December 2nd, 2024 minutes, planning meeting minutes.
Discussion on the minutes. And those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Go to public comment. Now is the time to take, if somebody's here to express public comment on something not on the agenda as a specific item, you can come forward and make those comments now. If you're here for a specific item, you'll have a chance when that specific item is called to come forward and make comments. Is there anybody here for public comment? Seeing none, I go to variances, planning board. This would be where we'd recommend, this would be on an issue we'd recommend commission action. Correct?
Yes.
All right, so let's start with this one. There's somebody here to speak to this proponent on the Robert Ingalls. Okay. If you want to come up, Mr. Ingalls, and speak into the mic and explain what you got going on here.
Either one. Yep, either one. Just push it on.
Go ahead, Mr. Ingalls. Tell us what you're asking for here.
Thank you. My wife, Tashana, and I are working towards moving back to the family home ranch, and our intent is to move a modular home onto our land. We are requesting the variance to avoid and minimize additional costs and delays. We're requesting a variance to avoid platting our property, which originally is compliant with the 40 acres. Because the because the H lot's highway right-of-way it now falls below the required acreage.
Okay, it's on 212, and there was got a little bit more frontage off of you?
That's my understanding.
Yes.
And so that 40 on the property on the rest of that looks like half section. Is that all owned by your family then?
And that you have pulled up in the green, it is. Yes, that's correct.
Like, except for Schulte squeezing in between you, you own the property.
That's right.
All right. Questions or comments? Staff have anything?
So I did pull the highway plats. Take out everything on the right of way through there on Highway 212. The quarter, it lies completely north of 212, so I would support not platting just because the highway does not split the lot in half. There's not 10 acres left below or anything. It's the full remaining above. I did have some recommendations, though, if the plat was to be approved. They would be permitted for outbuilding uses. No ADUs could be permitted unless it was platted, and if another resident needed to be on the lot, it would also have to be platted. And that prior to the building permit, the applicant obtained a South Dakota DOT approved for a residential structure approach.
It looks like, is there a section line there? It looks like there's an approach on that section line. Are you going to come off that section line, or are you going to come off of 212?
There are two ways of access. Most likely, I will come off that section line access. Yes, ma'am. There is an approach to the west end on the south side of the trees you see on the picture there. But the more desired access would be on the section line.
Yeah, if it was a section line access, you'd have to.
It's DOT. Oh,
That
yeah.
section line between the two. Is that section line developed at all?
The section line, there's actually a notch out. That notch that sits there is actually part of a highway right away.
Oh, the DOT took that section.
Yes, they did.
Questions?
I've got a question of ignorance. So, not platting. Why wouldn't pursue platting? Sorry, I'm asking out of ignorance.
The house and everything? That property's,
Thank you.
So under our ordinance, if they were 40, they could plat without a, they could, I mean, build without a plat. And the only reason it's under 40 is because, so,
Thank you.
yeah, and I'd probably be less inclined to give a variance if, again, if it was split by the road, I think that's problematic, or if they were surrounded by all the other people's property. But given the fact that I tend to think this one makes sense. Other discussion?
I move we grant variance to waive the requirement to plat a legally described parcel in order to obtain a building permit on the conditions as stated by the staff. Only one primary dwelling may be permitted. Permits for outbuildings may be issued. No ADU may be permitted. And landowner obtain a DOT approved approach permit.
So we're recommending the commission to, is this?
Thank you.
This is a recommendation to the commission because it's a building permit.
Yes.
So we're recommending to the commission to grant the variance based on those conditions.
Correct. Thank you.
Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes. Good luck.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for your time.
I need a motion to enter our Board of Adjustment. Second.
Second.
We're entering our variances Board of Adjustment. This is 4B. This looks like it's the same thing, but this is actually this because it appears in two different ordinances. We have to address it.
Yes, because it appears in ordinance 20 also.
All right. So.
This one is different, why?
It's because it's an ordinance 20, so we have, the request falls into different ordinances. Ordinance 34 is the building code. Ordinance 20 is the subdivision law.
Falls under the
Same.
it falls under the building code, so you can't get a building permit unless you plat it. Requires platting.
And this one is for approval with this body and not as a recommendation.
Yes, this would be final. This would say that they don't have to plat, and then but they'd have to get the building. Right. Okay. Discussion. Seeing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? That passes unanimously. Okay. We'll go to, thanks again. We'll go
Thank you for
to
coming
for
in.
C variance request, dead end road length and number of residences, ordinance 20, Moonlit Mountain Meadows. Is there somebody here to speak to this variance? Is this yours, Shannon?
You want it to be yours.
Okay, so,
They did not indicate they were not coming, so.
is this yours, Bob? Well, come on up then. Probably say more on this one than you said when you're on the board.
I was hesitant to say anything if I was on the board, but I will now. So if you look at the proposed fire route out of there, the Lampy. Yep. Whoop. Yeah, there. Right where it starts at the other end. Yeah, right there. Can you blow that up a little bit? Yeah, it could be more, but that's, yeah, there you go. If you look down right where the yellow starts, if you look a little bit to the northwest, you see a little light area. No, northwest. Yeah, up just a little bit farther. There's a little spot there. That's an excavator that I own, that I lent to the guy that owns that property about 2 or 3 years ago. Still there because I am scared to death to go and get it. The roads are horrible, horribly steep, not well maintained. And I've often sat there and looked out at the highway and think, why can't I go right out that way? And I've often thought about asking the owner, could I get permission to go through? I think this is a good idea. I think in reality it should be made a connecting road, not just an access. And I also wonder about what happens to other people up there that want to do the same subdivision. Can they count that? Is this no longer a dead-end road? So that, and I am really in favor of it happening, so I don't want to throw a monkey wrench in anything. But
Yeah, I hear you. It's if we could. I've looked at that location multiple times also, and I've always thought if you could get out another access road out to the east, that would make that area practical.
And maybe the landowners in there need to get together and pitch them some money and pay the owner for. I think it's a good idea, but
That area has a road
do
district,
they?
but it goes into where it would connect over here. Do they have? Did he get do we have easement documents? Those people are going to grant him easements.
So Lampy, I know Lisa McFarland has visited with Lampy, and they will not give a written one. It's only verbal.
Yeah, well then,
And then lots, the Meandering and Meadow Retreat Investments, that plat between those two lots has a fire access trail easement on the plat.
but is it for the benefit of?
It doesn't say, it's just recorded on the plat that way.
Which one? I'm sorry, the one next to Lampy?
Talking about that road there, just researching that. Now, part of that seemed on Google Earth part of it seemed like it, and the rest was like.
Well, and it's not so much that it's a trail, it's the grades.
To get back there, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, you have to go up that steep hill, long steep hill going in. And then when you get just above where this
Right on
ends, you
that
go down
cliff
another
face?
steep road going down. Yeah.
So this is the plot I was talking about, that between lot 4 and 5 where the fire access easement's granted. Right here. This is the road, Edgewood Place. This is how they would connect through lot 1, through Lampia's lot 1. The only thing I could figure out was that when they did lot 1 of Ely subdivision, that was a requirement that they have a,
Secondary.
yeah, it's the only thing. But there's no documents past the plats for the
That
easement.
list. Well, and I guess that's what I was saying, is that trail, then Bob is
Right there.
right there.
Proposed.
Yeah. And
Somebody drove your excavator up.
I know. And I said, this is the last time I'm doing that.
You'll go up, but not down?
I'm thinking of hiring someone to go get it.
Not bad. Wow.
It is, especially the beginning road is the worst. And going up it, you can survive it. Going down it can be a little bit scary.
Strap a GoPro to your head, and we'll put you live on social media. See how many.
Okay.
You got a drop off on the
Yeah.
side of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, I've driven up there with it.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Over the trailer, and I'm like, oh no, not a chance.
So you're saying the fire exit road is going through some rough country too?
Yeah, is that correct?
Looks fine there on a map.
Yeah, they always do.
Okay.
It was helping. Go off of his property. Hoven.
Well, just wanted to throw in my 2 cents. But the other question is, if you allow them to develop this, because there's that fire access, does every other landowner up there have the right to start subdividing fire access? Which may be fine. I mean, I'm not saying pro or con against that, but it's,
Well, yeah, I think you probably need, number one, you need that fire access of record. Yeah. Public, so if they ever wanted to improve, probably even. It is a problem up there, right?
The Lampies do use that road to access their house. They have a house up here, so they do use this already.
Where that yellow line is.
Yep, where the yellow line is.
Yeah,
It doesn't,
One guy was looking at developing that 110 off the creek. We tried.
so yeah, that was my recommendation, that they had to come back with a written agreement.
I guess that's what. Plus the fact that who is really maintaining it? Who's responsible for maintaining it? Emergency access on top of it. I mean, 'cause going down today, like in a fire, is not going to be very conducive, or means for other people exit and leave. So I would, say
Well, and then on top of that, I don't know if it seemed to me the verbal said that you would need to have a gate blocked, which seemed to me defeats the purpose of an address.
Letter from Lisa.
so the county just needs to use their powers of condemnation to condemn a route through there for the good of everybody but one landowner.
Yeah,
so you
I mean,
can get your excavator.
You can get your excavator out of there. How nice is that excavator?
It's not that nice, or I wouldn't have left it there. It's just a tiny Okay. That might say to everyone.
Oh, it's a tough area of that back there, because that was actually a discussion we had with them when they were in here. But we opened the gate.
Yeah.
So since they're not here, but they knew it was supposed to be on the agenda, we defer to this meeting.
Did defer to this meeting.
Stuff from the owner.
Our motion was to defer the variance so they were able to submit additional documents. We didn't give them a date. It was such a turnaround between Christmas and with all the holidays in the first meeting.
I was thinking that it was.
No.
Well, so, I mean,
They may not even know.
No, they know.
Oh, they do. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's things that you think I know, but I don't know.
Emails.
Okay, I'm gonna go sit down.
well, yeah, too late. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether you guys want to, defer it. I wouldn't just defer it to the next meeting. I want to defer it. You defer it to I think if you're going to defer it, you should probably provide more direction of what you need. Like, we need legally binding, open to the public easements across that property to get that location. And I'd like to see some kind of plan from the road district to improve it if needed. Yeah, it can't be. What good's a fire escape do when it's locked? You get into these tough situations though, where it's dedicated and it's open to public access. County can't prevent somebody from driving down and you can't lock. You can put a gate on it if the county lets you.
To their property off of Peaceful Pines, there's a posted sign. Private residence, traffic. The one that not all the way up Peaceful Pine, where Erskine Range turns into Deadwood Avenue. Yeah.
100 times.
Yeah, my favorite place to drive.
Yeah, the
I'm
one
glad I
with the-
survived.
Oh, this is yeah, that's not a private drive. Oh, the one where the emergency exit.
The emergency exit coming down, yeah.
Yeah, that's an easement there.
I'll call it Suicide Hill.
Marble Mountain, I think is what they call the development.
Marble Mountain.
Oh, Scott shoot.
That's
Scott Shoots, yeah. So, well, I don't know. What's the board's preference? I mean, give them some more time, or do you want to just say you're going to have to do so much work?
Move to defer this item to the April meeting. Concerns raised here be communicated. The applicant.
I don't want to leave it open forever because you got to post it and advertise it. Get it figured out by April, or probably for them just to withdraw. Try to figure out the plan up there. Okay, motion to defer until April to see if they can actually works. Discussion on the motion. You guys know where this is located? It's off Erskine Ranch Road. Get your blood pumping. It's a good one to drive back and look at. that cliff face is icy, and you could go, oh, I could slide and fall about 80 feet. That'd be good. There's some people that live up there. They don't seem to have a problem, but all right. No other discussion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? We really don't. We tell them it's April. We're not going to see them sooner. All those in
Aye.
opposed, passed unanimously. Go to item 5, old business, 5A, final plat of Lot 1, Kamak Ranch. Oh, Shannon?
What's that?
Huh?
I broke it. Okay, Shannon, you're up. I got it going for you.
Yeah. Okay, so this one we're here for a final plat for Kamak Ranch Supply. Basically a lot. We're consolidating everything that's used for that business into one platted commercial lot, basically. So it's transferring to its family member. So I think on the prelim we had trying to figure I think we addressed all the concerns on that. Yep.
We just wanted some clarifications on a couple of the access points.
Yeah, pretty simple. Yeah, pretty basic. Highway Department did sign off on this one, so since it's a state highway, so
DOT, you mean?
they're the DOT. Sorry. Yep.
Anything else? Anything from the audience?
Gary Kamak did supply a letter that we asked him for. What Lot 1 was to be used for. Now it's the same as a business. Met all the requirements for the preliminary plat. Out of his egg status, acknowledgement form submitted. The only thing is, we do not know property taxes yet, so the plat, we asked that the plat, it cannot be recorded today, but to be,
Still have to circulate for signatures.
still have to circulate for signatures, but yeah, if we can include the plat, even though it's not.
The treasurer
Taxes
hasn't
not
signed off on it yet, is all. But of
Right.
course, it can't get recorded until.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but
So you don't have the problem you do when you're separating. Risky, but.
Right.
Questions for Shannon or staff? I want to make a motion.
Move to approve the final plat, contingent on the 2025 taxes once calculated by Meade County to be paid in full on the parent parcels.
I would second that.
Okay, discussions on the motion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Final plat of track B-5.
So on this one, this is for Kevin and Lori Collins. At the last meeting, we didn't have the well share agreement in place, so we do have that in place. It's ready to be recorded, basically at the same time as the plat. So everything, that was really the only thing from the last meeting that was a concern.
No, you're right. It was resolved. It was with the variance, and we approved the variance.
Yep.
Okay, anything else staff sees that needs to be done?
Property taxes was the only thing again.
And this is a shared well?
Yes, it is. Correct. Yep. And it's shared between 3 lots. Because lot 1 down on the south side was previously platted, so it's shared with that lot. So it's basically 3 total lots shared. So.
Did you want the contingency on the property tax included?
Final plat process, property taxes was final plat. New year, we're kind of.
LAH. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Paying attention.
He's not even paying attention to us.
So what conditions do we have?
Tax and the well share to be recorded following the recording of the plat.
All right, so there's a motion to approve this plat as final, subject to the plat not being filed until the 2025 tax. Prior to following the plat. Correct? Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, and in fact, we should kind of figure out an approach on that. Maybe planning. We should have that discussion. Shannon, give us some thought and give us your input. But perhaps the way we should be doing this is that I won't file the plat until they provide a signed well share agreement that's going to be filed with it. And we know they've got all the signatures together, and we don't get some situation where we file a plat and then somebody won't sign.
Yep.
So I think maybe that's what should be our approach going forward on some of these. I'm not making you say yay or nay right now, Shannon, but think about it. I think that actually would benefit the landowners and probably even you as surveyor, as opposed to trying to run something down and then out on you.
Right, correct. So, well, I know it even gets, because on the attorney side, they were having a hard time writing that because they wanted to write that well share easement with a potential buyer's name or the new owner's name in it. But
well, I mean, you file it with the existing owner.
Right.
And it just runs with the land.
That's what I was having my challenge. So
I'm going to look to see that who's the prepared buy on that thing. And
well,
see
you
what,
know, so but
I'll take a look. Wow, what, Aces is doing it again?
No, it's Candy Thompson. So
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But she does have a hard time with giving well share agreements. An owner giving themselves a well share agreement.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, there is some. I can understand some trepidation if it was an easement because there's a question of whether you can give an easement to yourself, but a well
Right.
share agreement.
Okay.
I don't think that the same statutes apply, but Candy gotta make her calls.
Okay.
But yeah, either that or we could start just platting the well and doing.
True. Right. So,
Let's give that some thought. As to what easement question, there is a statute that talks about that you merger of title if you give yourself an easement question. You have to like put some extra language in. But if it's on the plat, fine.
right. Yep.
Okay. All right. So we can talk about that later. So if any of the board has any thoughts on that. 5C, final plat of lots 1 and 2 of Block 5. Rytech.
It's not here.
Do
Refer to,
you have some questions on it? Was there some issues?
he was notified at the meeting on Friday, what day and time. Not sure. We've worked through the easements.
Board's preference. Yeah, I mean, planning recommends deferral, but I mean that doesn't.
Hopefully, next week's or next month's agenda is heavy, you said? So,
It sounds like it will be, yes.
maybe, yeah.
Well, it is a final.
So I see the Horizon Road is not
So we might as
finished.
well discuss some of this, yes.
Yes, so if it's not finished,
Not here.
so it's still not.
Not finished or bonded, I'm assuming.
The road, so the road, Horizon Road has a gravel surface to the well that is being built and all the infrastructure that became their Meade Road. He has an approach permit granted to him. He also has the ability to have 2 more approaches off of Elk Creek for Lot 1 and 2. The spacing does work correctly. So his goal is to leave Horizon, all the street plans are 100% in now, which they supposed to. He hasn't had time to build it because it's hard to build right now. So his request was to allow lots 1 and 2 to come off of Elk Creek Road and leave Horizons as a dedicated road and keep building it until he's bringing in 3 more lots behind those. So Horizons Road would have to be built for the next plat, but lots 1 and 2 could come off of Elk Creek Road.
Well, I'm just looking at the distances. Are they counting Horizon?
500 lineal feet approaches.
How long are those lots?
Back and forth, it's not.
Did we agree to let him come off of Elk Creek Road?
He has approach from an easement agreement from the county when they did Elk Creek Road. They're within the packet. Sorry, my stuff is not. Yeah, so that's one of the things that was going to be, he was going to ask for. He needs a building, so what happened was he sold the lot 1 as an adequate description for a building permit. We don't allow adequate description on 5-acre lots for a building permit. By making him plat it. So he needs to pull a building permit. I said, well, you could ask for a variance not to plat for a building permit or
Platted.
or plat. So he's trying to do the platting, but he doesn't want to build Horizon yet. So even if he bonds, the road still isn't going to be built. We're in winter now. So he's like, well, I can use Elk Creek Road as my approach permit to access both lots, to access lot 1 to start the building permit process. I cannot deny that because he is right, as long as Troy approves the approach.
Well, but he's got to have a plat, though.
Plat though, yeah. to make him build Horizons fully out before we plat.
So, apologize, I should cover it. Access,
Permanent
Document.
access easement dock. Page 22, Talbot.
Troy's actually filled out a driveway permit for it.
Bill has submitted them. One of them is approved. Packet.
Approach permit. All right, well.
To defer it? We're just kind of settling it. What date?
I think Mike made the motion.
You have a,
Yeah, I think,
I just
Or,
felt
or did,
next week, or next month, sorry.
well,
Are you the last one to know?
well,
Yeah.
well, the question really was, is 1 month reasonable to complete the conditions that we've asked for?
Next submittal date, due date is January 13th.
well, so, but the issue is that one approach permit, not two. I don't understand why we're giving somebody an approach permit when we've got a road coming off the main road, going right between. Yeah. I thought we talked about him coming off of that horizon.
That's what I understood. And then lot 1 on the plat, they locate where the. So I'm going to use that one. Oh.
Well,
I want Horizon to be road because I don't think we want that many
you don't want,
approaches.
yeah, you don't want approaches every,
500 foot.
yeah, because that road someday is going to be, well, it's already a major, pretty substantial thoroughfare. It's going to be. So I don't know why we're piling a bunch of highways on it right now. So, all right, to defer it, and if you guys can get it in for February, you can get it in for February. So, any other discussions on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, did Roger seconded it?
I second it. Kind of.
Mike did.
Charm hole.
Yeah, with Charter Home.
your mic?
Mike
Oh.
1, not Mike 2.
So we're gonna have to go with Michael and Mike?
Okay. All right. All those in favor of the deferral signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? 6A, new business, request to extend. As extension request.
So apparently everybody else on extended holiday vacation still, so you guys are stuck with me representing this one, but it's basically fairly simple. We're just looking at, trying to look ahead
Well,
because...
what was our options? Who else could we have got?
What? I should start. Oh. So basically what we're doing is, from when this preliminary plat on Sunrise Ridge subdivision was approved, it's coming up within the 12-month, I believe it's March
12th.
March 12th. So according to the ordinance, basically we can ask for a 3-month extension. So it's basically what we're doing, just getting ahead of the game a little bit, which puts us July. Is that correct? If we ask for an extension, puts us in that June, July time frame. So that's really all we're doing at this point. So then that way, again, we're in winter. Projects last summer were delayed a little bit. Not only there is, the Bear Butte Valley water improvement going on. I mean, that's not the whole excuse for not, this subdivision getting even further ahead than it should be. But basically that's in the developer's part. They held off a little bit. So today we're just asking for that 3-month extension to get us into the spring so we can start moving forward that way. So.
Yeah, so the request is to give you that 3-month extension. I know there was some discussion about trying to go longer, but I talked to planning. I thought that would take a variance.
Yep.
Do you think you guys might be looking at doing the variance too to extend it even longer than the 3?
Well, that I didn't know, because I guess the unknown is, for me personally, was if we start construction and then it has to be finished by our due date. So typically construction starts and then we, hopefully it just starts and then finishes. But at least this will give us a little time if the owners come in and chat with the board. I mean, if we do need more extension than what we're asking for. So.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Just so everybody on the board knows, Tanya and I talked about this because I think the original request was maybe going up as much as a year to make sure they get all through the construction season. The ordinance only allows us to do a 3-month extension. So the opinion I gave back is if they want more than that 3 months, they'd have to ask for a variance.
Yep.
I did raise with Tanya if we go in and look at modifying this, doing our list of, we keep these kind of running lists of maybe ways to tweak these ordinances if we go in to do an amendment. One of the tweaks might be to tweak these to allow a little bit longer if you're over a certain number of lots or infrastructure requirements. The difficulty we're getting is, if you did like a phased where you had a preliminary plat and then finished one.
Correct.
Maybe we wouldn't need to take these. Or if you're bonding, we wouldn't need to take these. Avoid bonding.
Right.
But we also don't want preliminary plats out there for 4 or 5 years either.
And then for clarification, like Shannon brought up, is the deadline that they have to have all infrastructure in and done by that due date?
Yeah, right now, you have to have your infrastructure done to get your plat filed.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure either.
Yeah, or
yeah, that's how the ordinance reads.
They could say, let's say they get 80% of the way done and they can't quite get it done because they could maybe bond the rest, or do a irrevocable letter of credit for the rest.
True, that's true. Yeah.
Just to finish it out, and they'd get their plat filed, which is not you see people do that. Well, they'll build the base road and then they're going to pave it. They want to start selling lots before they're paying for the paving, but then now they just bond the paving. So, but it makes sense to me that, I know it's been kind of a weird construction and had
to approve a 3-month extension to June 12th, 2025.
Discussions on the motion. Else from staff.
This one will go through to the county commissioners also in July, or January 12th for approval, 14th for approval also. There's an agreement that's been written up, that the planning board member will sign, and also county commissioners.
Yeah, if you look in the last page of the packet, there's this tentative agreement. The ordinance talks about an agreement. So Tanya worked up kind of a generic agreement. Both Ken and I have looked at it, a couple edits. It's got that item 3 that the extension is conditioned on. This one we didn't see that there was any that the developer would have to take this 3-month, but we wanted to have that so if we use this form in the future, because you might say developer has to finish this, or like you could get these situations where developers working on a through road that somebody was waiting on. Fine, but you have to develop the through road first, or the through road has to be done at such and such a date. Why we'll hold off on everything else? Because sometimes you get these plats, second plat relying on the first and finish. But again, if you guys look at that and you have any comments or thoughts, you can make it better. No. Okay. All right. The motion to with the 3-month extension has been moved and seconded. Any other discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes unanimously. Back to the calendar. Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
We appreciate that you're back from the holiday. Come see us. Updates from staff, discussion on minutes.
We had talked about this, I believe, in November on what style of minutes we wanted, and I was just trying to get clarification because we never brought it back up again. So Max has pulled 2 different samples, one from September, which was a shortened version, which that's where it got brought up in the November meeting, and the November meeting's the normal way of how we do the lengthy version. I just wanted, Max and I were just looking for some clarification on which minutes you guys preferred forward.
I could, with the different boards and such, I find that I'm inclined towards shorter minutes. The most important parts being what action was taken. As you increase the narrative in minutes, you also increase the opportunity for getting something wrong or something being misunderstood. So I would be in favor of the shorter minutes.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is I think it's beneficial to have who spoke for and spoke against, and it's just, you know, I'm looking at your November 4th where you're going through quite a bit of the dialogue. I think if you have so-and-so spoke for and made the following points, just kind of bullet point. So-and-so spoke against, concerned about the following issues, kind of more bullet point. The conversation amongst the board, I'm not so concerned about. You know, that when we make our motions, we make our motions.
And I think what really helps is, because I wasn't at the last meeting, but I was able to live and watch it. That, you know, greatly helped. I don't know if your dictation.
Yeah.
Now that it's live, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting aspect of, I mean, you have to have your official record. Only if we take action on something, they only have, gotta take it up on appeal. Having the video, somebody wanted to use that, could support, but six years from now, we're trying to figure out why the heck someone. Oh,
Does that answer your question, Matt? you have more questions
Short.
or more?
Shorten with just a little bit more.
Medium.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, if you have like 5 neighbors show up and say,
Yeah.
neighbors should, you know, people from the area, you don't have to necessarily get them all. I think it's helpful to know that there are people that, because, you know, like if somebody appeals some of our action, the court looks to see if we are arbitrary and capricious. And if they say, well, there are neighbors in there raising the following drainage issues, and the board relied on those, so it's not arbitrary for the board to say these are drainage. So, yeah, and just kind of bullet point, I'm not trying to put down the entire argument. You know, primarily concerned about drainage and
Concern.
access issue off the highway. Concern, yeah, if somebody came up and spoke against it, it'd be so-and-so spoke that, like Bob came up and spoke against it. Or,
Excavate.
yeah, it's his
Building.
turn, so.
Yeah.
But, you know, but if somebody came up and just said, well, you know, I don't think you should do it unless that's a developed right of way. Neighbor Joe said not, shouldn't be done unless the right of way was developed right of way. All right, new here, Tanya, what else should we know about?
Oh.
Board meeting.
I think this is the shortest.
For a long time.
Yeah.
For an hour.
Word to come.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so, the big plats we have out there, Hague is still bouncing around. That airport one's still bouncing around.
Yep.
Um,
Horizon is still done.
Horizon being,
Belfry tag.
oh, Belfry tags. Okay. One that we just got the little two. We've already approved his lots up on the, off of, the Elk
Yeah,
Hill, right?
those are finalized and
Yeah.
platted, yep.
Okay.
Airplane one, has he moved forward with any of the drainage issues? Pictures that you showed me, and in fact, he built a county road without.
Over
He
through
didn't,
the
he didn't
section
build a
line.
county road.
You know,
Road.
he built a road on the section line.
Right.
No, I haven't seen anything yet.
There was a comment there that planning got that they were gonna come back and do an overfill over the whole area, 5 feet or something.
Waiting
Drain
for. Overall grade.
So, yeah, so we have a couple, for the new board members, we have a couple of bigger projects where Tanya might be able to give you the names, flip back through the last year. Because these are gonna be, they've been in front of us, all of those have been in front of us multiple times.
I do think,
Peer review on the drainage. Right, right, so we haven't been able to have third party. Or on that one, concerns expressed by the applicant. So, all right, let's get out of here and into the weather.
Thank you for all your
Stand
work.
adjourned. Welcome. You guys don't think this is the standard? Yeah. Yeah, we've several times. Yeah. Yeah, so 3 hours is generally. We want to